hope for today. Hope you're doing well. And again, if you want to share anything we've got, please feel free to share it. We're just trying to spread the gospel. We've been on this Holy Spirit kick the past few days because we're just now into Pentecost. I want to speak to you about something that happened on the day of Pentecost. Some of you may be familiar with the Spirit coming and landing upon the folks like a rushing wind, the sound of a rushing wind, and then tongues of fire set upon each and every one in the room. And then they all spoke in these different tongues so other people from other places understood them when they came out of the room. Well, there seems to be an undoing of something from the Old Testament happening here. Let's go back to the Tower of Babel. You remember the Tower of Babel? They were going to make a name for themselves, set themselves above God and all this stuff. It was all about them and making a name for themselves. And God comes down, he sees what's happening, and he sees it's evil. He sees what's going on is simply an evil attempt by them to usurp God and really to rebel against God. So God, he messes the languages up, and that's why it's called Babel. So they could no longer speak in one language. He confused their languages, it said. Well, then people began to scatter and go throughout all the earth, and that was one of God's plans anyway. He wanted people to scatter and go throughout the earth and to multiply the earth and all those wonderful things. Well, then later we see in the day of Pentecost a kind of undoing of that, because now what the Spirit has come, and now language or anything else is not here to hinder us. We're to be in unity with one another. And now God has broken those barriers again. We see kind of an undoing of that happening here. With the Spirit, through the Spirit, people can speak to others in another language. That doesn't happen all the time, and that was a unique thing for the day of Pentecost. But again, God is breaking these barriers, and he is bringing us back together as his children. And we need to remember that. The Spirit of God is a unifying thing. He is a unifier. He brings us together. He's not here to divide. So if you have people dividing you and doing those things within your congregation or within your life or anything else, or those who are doing it within the greater society, they are not following the Holy Spirit, because the Holy Spirit unifies.